Hey guys, welcome to Nerdarchy, 4 Nerds by Nerds. I'm Ted, hanging out with
Eric is Dave.
And today we have a viewer suggestion from PR, and he wants to know, how do you encourage people to play 5th edition when they're so used to 3.5?
If you guys have a suggestion you want to offer us up, go over to nerdarchy@gmail.com and submit it there.
So, PR's got this group he's been playing with for 8 to 10 years, and they are hardcore 3.5 players, and he's been exposed over on Roll20 to 5th edition. He loves it, and he wants to encourage his group, but he's like, how do I do it, tactfully? How do I make them change? He's met with some resistance because they're like, well, I already know these rules. I don't want to spend all this money.
Or I've already spent all this money.
And
he puts it in a very interesting way. He's like, how do I get my players to go? How do I go from playing this rules light 5e edition back to playing
the algebraic edition?
Yeah, exactly. Which is kind of humorous, but yeah. Here's the thing: you can't, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. There's nothing you can do. If they don't want to play 5e, they don't want to play 5e. If they're happy playing the game they're playing, let them play it. You don't have to play it, like, if you don't want to, but, or you might be like, well, I want to play, but I don't want to GM. Like, there's so many variations. Like, here's my personal thing. I'll play in almost anything, but I will not run a game that I don't particularly like. If I don't like a rule set for a game, I can have fun playing it, but there's no way in how you're going to get me to run that game.
I understand.
The worst thing you can do, and I actually did this in our RPG tips for the newsletter this past week, is the worst thing you can do for a game is have a GM that's not interested in running the game he's running. Like, everyone's fun at the table is going to suffer, and it's just going to hurt the experience overall. So
I would say, all right, number one, a lot, like, if the players are playing 3.5 and they want that crunch, as you call it, the algebraic stuff, then it's going to be very difficult convincing them to play 3.5, to play 5th edition. But number one, if the monetary concerns, you can get the player's handbook for like $25, $30 on Amazon, and as a player, that's all you're going to need.
Well, aside from that too, there's the SRD. Which you can access for free. Mm-hmm. There's the free PDF download. Those two things alone will give you a ton of stuff.
Right.
Now, is it everything you need to play the game? No, but no one has to spend any money, and they're just downloads.
Right. Now, if the players are saying, well, I want to play this option, I want to play that option, and it's not there in 5th edition, find a way to give them the feel of what they're looking for. If it's a race, if it's a class, find a way to commingle things together and give them the options that they want to play. And realistically, this is a role-playing game, so that's what the focus should be on. So if they're in it for the crunch, then there's no way you're going to get them to 5th edition. But if they're interested in the actual role-playing portion of it, and it's just that they don't want to learn new mechanics, it's a light set of rules. It's very easy to worry about them. Just teach them the things that they need to know for their character class.
They know most of the rules anyway. Like, it hasn't changed that much.
Right.
The bonuses are smaller, and there's advantage and disadvantage and inspiration. Like, there's not really that much more there. The only other thing I can think of, if you want to get them to try 5th edition, is you might have to take a roundabout way of doing it and play a different role-playing game that's not Dungeons & Dragons. And, broaden the horizons that way. And then maybe they'll be more open to trying something different. No guarantees. Again, like, I don't really care to try and spend my time trying to convince someone to play a game that they're not interested in playing. I don't push any of the game that hard. If people want to try it, they want to try it, great. When I'm talking to people in the comments or on Facebook or whatever, I'm not going to try and convince you to play the game that I play. Play whatever makes you happy. If you're playing tabletop RPGs, that makes me happy.
Right.
I don't care which one you play. I'm not going to tell you your way is wrong or your fun is wrong. I may like have a different interpretation of rules and story and things like that, but at the end of the day, it's up to the individual tables and groups of players to figure out what it is they want and what they're looking for and how they're going to get it. And there's tons of systems out there. Other than Dungeons and Dragons, there's GURPS, there's Palladium, which they're moving. A lot of the Palladium stuff is going to get a new breath of life with Savage Worlds, which is another game. There's
Mutants Masterminds. You have Fate.
Cipher System, Numenera. There's all the Mongoose ones, the Traveler. There's a Judge Dredd. There's so many games out there. I can't even conceive them all. Gangbusters, Twilight 2000, Gamma World, Star Frontiers,
Shadowrun.
Various iterations of Marvel superheroes. So. Several iterations of the DC superheroes. So there's just so much stuff out there. There's a game called Car Wars. There's made the RPG. If there's a genre that you can conceive, there's a game for it somewhere.
Kobolds ate my baby.
Exactly. So just. There's a lot of games out there, and it doesn't matter which one you play as long as you're playing. I don't really care.
So Dave suggests get them to try something that's not your typical fantasy game and see if that breaks them out of their shell, that they can learn new rules and they can do new things, and then maybe that'll soften the blow of 5th edition. But as we said, we really like 5e. I think it takes the best of everything from before and combines it into the best product that they've put out so far.
There's Star Wars. There's Warhammer.
But if your players are just steadfast, they're not going to do it. You can't force them. It's just not
and
gonna
you
happen.
know what though? But here's the caveat: they can't force you to run the game either. If you're not interested in running a 3rd edition game anymore, don't. You're doing a disservice to yourself. You can be like this is the game I'm playing. I'm totally okay with this. You can be the Iron Tyrant, the Overlord, and be like, this is the game I want to run. Mm-hmm. We don't want to play that game. That's
somebody
fine.
else run.
Somebody else can run whatever game they'd like to play. I would love to play in it.
Right.
So that's all. They can't force you to GM. You can't force them to GM. You can't force them to play a game they don't want to play, and they shouldn't be able to force you to play a game you don't want. So just have fun and figure out what that is for you, what that is for your table, and hopefully maybe you guys can come to a compromise. I don't know. Has this come up for you guys? Let us know in the comments below. While you're at it, like, share, and subscribe.
You can check out the articles over on nerdarchy.com.
So until next time,
stay nerdy.